Hello world. Patricia, O'Connor, and Frida, Reba, Darcy here today on the Bonsai balcony. It is our midweek drop. It is Wednesday. It is also a cloudless, beautiful blue day with a lot of visibility, and it is also in the low 80s. I don't think I'm gonna die because it's in the low 80s. I think I'm gonna die because yesterday it was in the mid 60s and today it's in the low 80s. So we're all going like, so yeah. Welcome to our little weird weather patterns. Cue the machinery. So yeah, this is what we have going on today. Everything looks really green with very few exceptions. This guy doesn't look as green. Also, in our last show a few days ago, I pointed at some needles on Simply P that were kind of folded up. I don't know. Let's see if I can do this. If I can get that to focus like I'd like it to. Those little needles haven't opened up yet, and that's all that means. There's nothing wrong with that. But that can also sometimes, when they should have opened up and they're folded up like that, that can be an indication that a bug is in there going to town on all that stuff, and it's hiding its presence by folding up all those needles and making a little nest out of them. So I had pointed to something on Simply P on one of its candles and said that is either that candle is still folded up when the ones around it had opened or maybe it had an insect. And then after I got off the video, I was going to go in there with my weenie skewer. Behold the weenie skewer. Is there nothing that it will not do? And what I saw was woolly aphids in there. And I don't have a lot of experience with woolly aphids. Not a lot. I have a little. Part of the reason I have a little is because I do a treatment that should keep those guys at bay. Should. Also, it's time to do that treatment. Also, the last time I had a tree with woolly aphids, I went in with my weenie skewer and I started raking all the little fuzzy stuff out of it that I could see, and a month or two later the tree died. It never responded to anything that I had done. And well, that's not loud or anything. It never responded to anything that I had done, and so that had me worried. I was thinking I should have maybe responded at least to that tree in a more positive way. I thought that physically removing everything that I saw would do the trick, but either I didn't get it all or the damage was already done. So this time, when I saw woolly aphids on this guy, and I haven't seen it on anything else, even the other tree that I was just showing a few minutes ago that didn't look too good, that tree has been doing that since last summer. It's been gradually changing its color, and I've been holding back on the water to where now I'm probably at risk of underwatering it, and I've not seen any change. So my next step with that tree will be to go back with more watering, which I've already know led to this, and we're just going to play that out. This is Simply P. This is a different deal. I saw woolly aphids on here a couple of weeks ago, last week, and I physically removed it, and then this morning I looked and I saw damage to the needles around there where I had removed those aphids, meaning that they are still in there, still doing their thing to some extent, or I'm just now seeing the damage that they caused before I removed them. like I said, I don't have a whole lot of experience with woolly aphids, but I do want this stuff to stop. So what I have done is I looked at the calendar and I saw that since the last time uh, when I put a treatment on these trees, which was a like systemic treatment, that treatment was a two-part system. In other words, you mix it with the water, and then you water the tree with it. You add a teaspoon per gallon of container that the tree is per gallon pot of water. So that ratio is mixed up right there, standing by, and I'm going to add it to Simply P and maybe a few other little trees around here because I'll have a lot left over. But the treatment with this stuff is that you add it to the water, you stir it in well, you wash your hands, you also wear gloves. If you get it in your eyes, you read the bottle and do what it says. If you do anything else weird with it, you read the bottle and do what it says. This stuff does not fool around. It's also, I don't think they can sell it in Canada, but there are other alternatives to that I believe Canada would let you have. And reading the warning on the back of the label, I would guess that like some other things that they allow us to have in the United States, that's showing up in our crops, and it's showing up in our livestock, and it's showing up in our children. Canada probably doesn't play that, which is a good thing. But I would check and see what the alternatives are. And the deal with this systemic is you add that to the water, you thoroughly water the tree with that. The tree will uptake that stuff. You can also foliar feed, dose with it, and it's supposed to work that way as well. But the idea is that you get the roots to take it up, it gets in the system, it doesn't hurt the tree, it does hurt the invaders. So that's what we're going to do. That's what we've got going. And that's what we're going to do here. That's what you see me watering is a mat of sphagnum moss that I caked the roots in with when we did a repot and a change of angle and a drastic restyle to this tree. And we did all of that last year. And what we did, it's close to 4 o'clock, which means around 4 o'clock we go ambient. You probably just saw that my lights just went off. We're going to hang with that. I think that's okay. But what you see is me watering this in thoroughly and making sure that everywhere on that pot that goes all the way through really well. I will also do this oak and the cork bark with that, and this pine, and I will also do this ponderosa. I think past that, if I do anything bigger than the ponderosa, like say the bald cypress, I would have to change the ratio for that to be effective, but I think I could probably get away with that. The difference being you pour them all the way through the entire soil, all the way through. Then in 2 weeks you do that again, and that's considered one treatment. And then halfway through you do that at the beginning of the year or halfway through the year, and then one other time this year we will do that again, like 6 months from now. That should have been by my count a month away. But since we have seen aphids, then screw that. I'm going in with the heavy guns. Now, I was talking earlier about how much work I had done to this tree, and this tree was so strong that I did so much work to this tree last year based on two things. One, it was incredibly strong, and two, I thought it was incredibly homely. I really did. So I thought it was the perfect guinea pig. And I would say that peat moss little base we have there even kind of plays right into our little pig thing. But at the same time, I also think with all of that work, we may have elevated this tree somewhat. And I don't want to lose any tree, but I do see the good in what started off as being sweet pea and what has evolved into simply pea. But these yellow needles, the third-year needles, look, even for third-year needles, they look a little yellower than I would like. I did the candle cut to that candle that the aphids were all over. I thought rather than go through there and try to rake anything else that's in there out again, let's just remove the problem. Later I'm going to bring the tree in after it's dripped and kind of go over with a magnifying glass and see anything else that I can remove. Otherwise, I am pretty happy with our chances having just treated this tree. What caused this tree and not this tree and not these trees to get woolly aphids? I weakened the tree. When you weaken a tree, it will make some hormones or something. There is a smell that the tree will put out in the air that calls predators. And to some extent, evolution has caused this so that it will, in some instances in the wild, cause a part of the tree that's dying to get eaten away or something. So it's sometimes the predators are thought to be beneficial to the overall health of the tree in a way that it could, flies eat infection, but that's not something in a controlled environment we are really ever going to want to mess with. So, that's just the name of that tune. We should be able to keep our predators away, and if we have part of the tree that's dragging down everything else, we should be able to apply good pruning practices without expecting some termites to come do it for us, for instance. I think the time I heard of predators being used for a useful reason is a tree with too much salts in the desert or something will attract termites, and they'll go to town on part of the wood that is harboring all the salts. And that was a part of a lecture on nutrients. But anyway, I digress. That is pretty much what I have to go on there. That treatment that I just gave is, you can see, it's from Bayer, a Bayer company that's Bio Advanced. That is, it doesn't say Bayer on the front, it says Bayer on the back. That's the Bayer aspirin people. That doesn't mean they're harmless. They have a history, and where I just touched, for instance, where I just pulled a weed out of there, and I have to make sure now that before we're done, I'll wash that hand, and don't go biting my nails or doing anything dumb like that. So that's necessary, and because we weakened that tree, that allowed an entry point for a predator to come in and take hold. If you allow that to further weaken that tree and those predators are allowed to thrive, that will spread, and as things get weaker around that area, that all just takes over, and then other predators come checking out the neighborhood because they too will have been summoned. And that's just the way that works. That's how they come to weaker trees. That's how they know to come. my combatant against this is that I go with a systemic treatment twice a year, and I try to keep my trees healthy. I am learning my lesson about how far you can go with a tree that looks extremely healthy. I probably did something like this frame of mine. It looks great. It's a healthy tree. We can get away with it. Oh, it still looks great. It didn't miss a beat. Let's do this. So that times then a 90-degree day, and all of a sudden we've got a tree that's greatly weakened and on its back foot. And that just sends a call out. That's kind of like a call out to anybody that wants to come and try to see if it can take a chance on a tree that might have poor defenses. And that's how you let something in your garden. And this is what we're going to do about it. And vigor and health is the best hedge to make sure that I don't have to become some doctor or expert on killing insects. Good bonsai health, good feeding, good watering, good light, all that other stuff is your best hedge toward keeping your predators away. Right now, my oaks are looking surprisingly good. They're looking really healthy. It's just a good time for me to go through there. All the leaves are looking very vital on both. There's no specks or rust or any of that stuff. And they will start to do that on their way out too. But right now, everybody's just all young and vital and green, and we're gonna keep all that stuff that way. But like I tend to say, there's always one, and I got my eye on you. We're gonna do what we think is best on a day-to-day basis. But I've been watching this tree now and wondering about why it seems to act over water when I even water it less than the other trees since last summer. So yeah, that's it. That's it for us on predators and aphids in particular. I went in and raked them out on one of my small seedlings and lost that seedling anyway. And then, as now, when I see aphids, it happened on a tree that had first been weakened by me pulling shenanigans. So not doing what, Pat? Not repotting and styling a tree and doing the candles all in the same year. That was so many no's that that was just too many things by a factor of those two other things after the first thing I said. So yeah, that weakened the tree and that set us up for disaster. And now I had already decided the tree was going to get to take a year off and nurse its wounds. And in the meantime, we've taken something, and now I've lopped off a candle that I wasn't planning on cutting, and I have to run my systemic treatment through this tree a month earlier than I thought I would have. But in California, you just kind of look at the weather and look at the trees. You do things more by then than by your watch. So yeah, like and subscribe if you guys have not already. It's a really nice day out today, and I've really been enjoying the weather, and I've really been enjoying how green and lush everything's looking. But we want to keep it that way, so we're putting our best foot forward, and we're not going to leave ourselves defenseless the way we did 3 years ago. We found out the hard way. If you don't learn about systemics, or you don't learn about insect control, that it will certainly kind of swing around and bite you. So I appreciate you, and Frida appreciates you, and thank you so much for watching.